Hey, everybody, it's the Squares Round Table Podcast. We're back. It's working. We're alive. We're not dead. Yay!
Yay!
Woohoo!
Yay.
poor Jeff. So what is it? Did you get the flu, you said?
Yes.
Oh, I'm sorry, man.
I'm fluish.
Oh, you got some.
It's not Corona.
No. I thought about that. I'm like, great. This is great. That's what I need.
But did you see a doctor? Did you make sure it's not coronavirus?
Oh, yeah, I saw a doctor.
Okay.
I saw a doctor. I saw a doctor. He said stuff. He shoved shit up my nose.
Hey.
Hey.
Give you a miracle pill?
I don't know about a miracle pill, but, yeah, well, you get the idea.
Did you give placebo?
What?
No placebos. We hope you're feeling better soon, Jeff. And by soon, I mean like within the next hour.
Yes.
Yeah, well,
yes.
Forgive me if I hack and cough all over the place on the show. It'll be kind of like when Ivan eats.
Okay, just put some saran wrap around your iPod or your iPhone or however you're listening to the show, and you'll be fine. You'll be safe. You just got to watch out for that virus. Holy crap.
Yep.
Yeah,
well, thank you for having us back into your ears. We're glad. Well, sorry we weren't here last week. We had some technical difficulties, but welcome back. Episode 89. That was a good year, man. I graduated high school that year.
Ooh, 89.
So last year we had our 30th high school anniversary, and I rented one of my high school friends at work, and he's like, Did you
went?
Go? No. I was like, fuck no.
Oh, okay.
I don't do that shit
I was going to say, I got one of those coming up, and I'm like,
no,
I've had people who've been like contacting me on Facebook who are like people I knew from high school, and I'm like, I haven't talked to you fuckers in 30 years. Why the hell do I want to talk to some of you people now? And why do I want to know where, unless you people are like going to like hand me checks or like, I don't know. You get the idea. I'm like, why do I care? Most of you are people I didn't like then.
Right.
What makes me think I'm going to like you now?
Right. I tolerated you in 1988. Why should I go out of my way to stand in a room with you for 2 hours and listen to music that we probably all enjoyed in some level, but no, it's still bullshit.
So that we could have another homecoming queen from 30 years later that we're all going to sit there and be like, this is fucking
And the
bullshit.
captain of the football team has this big beer gut. And
so we're all in agreement that reunions suck.
High school reunions? No. Fuck them.
Suck.
Yeah,
But 89 was still a really good year. That was Batman came
the
out.
best way I can put it is,
79.
I've tried doing you go back and you go to check something out that you used to be a part of or you were with or something like that. And it's like, it's that old adage, you can't go home again. I mean, you really can't.
No.
I mean, once it's not home anymore, it's really not the same. I
can relate to that.
Me too.
It's like Last Dance with Mary Jane.
Like I went and visited my alma mater like about maybe, I don't know, maybe about a few years back, and it was like
elementary school.
No, I mean for college.
Oh, okay.
Elementary school. Oh yeah, that dude and I used to play blocks with him, man. He was.
So some of us have a college degree, you dick. You dickwad. Some of us actually have a sheepskin yet. Ass munch. No, I checked out the old university, and it was like, I went here back when there wasn't the cable was the first thing in line. It's like, okay.
I've had enough.
It's like, back in the day, that building used to be this. Now it's that. Yeah, go away, old man. You're creepy. I don't know.
Go to bed, old man.
Yeah.
Yeah. I remember you. You're still the same, Doctor.
Whippersnapper. So, how you been, Ivan? We missed you the other week.
Well, yeah, and everything has been groovy like a Hollywood movie, just kind of moving along in the DJ circles, just doing the entertainment thing. I did an 80s Sunday. I preempted my LA, chorale session, and I made it an 80s session, and it was real cool. Brought out a whole bunch of stuff, talking about the 80s.
I didn't even know you had music from the 80s.
Oh, man, you kidding? I got more music from the 80s than you can shake a stick at, man. Let me tell you, I got
That's not true. I can shake a stick rather well.
Yeah, especially when you can find it. But the thing about it is that when I was out doing the groovy thing, it's just been very busy, and I did an exhibit with John Forbes.
You made an exhibit? That's pretty cool.
No, not the rapper.
No, not the rapper. I'm talking about, we did an exhibit over at Electric Jungle for John Forbes animation, John Forbes pictures, things that he's drawing. And of course, he's got a band called Tijuana Hercules. It's kind of a rootsy blues, rhythm and blues, boogie type of a band. And they did a live performance over at the Jungle on Saturday. It was real exciting.
Maybe it's me, but Tijuana Hercules does not sound like a blues band.
Well, what's in a name? What's in a name?
Yeah.
I mean, that's just not the first thing I would think about. Would you, Mike?
No, not
right.
me.
I don't think it's not all right.
It sounds like a band you wouldn't expect anything from. You could expect anything from this band.
Yeah, Tijuana Hercules, great band.
No, I don't know about anything. It's like fusion jazz would be bad.
Well, it depends on who does it.
Come on, stop.
No, it's true. Fusion jazz. Okay, if you start going, wait a minute.
It's the lamest jazz I've ever heard in my life.
Have you listened to any good fusion jazz? What kind
There's no such thing as any good fusion jazz.
Yeah, well, what are you listening to as far as the fusion jazz, alleged fusion jazz that you've been listening to?
I don't remember. It was bad. Why would I remember what was bad?
Well, you brought it up as part of the soundtrack, so, it must have brought to your attention so you can call how bad it is.
No. I try to avoid that like the plague now. I mean, I want good jazz, not shitty jazz.
Well, no, everybody wants good jazz. I love good jazz. In fact, I played some good jazz just last night down at Cole's. Was with my friend Drew. We do a thing called the Jazz Suite from 10 p.m. to 2 a.m. at Cole's and 2338 North Milwaukee. If you're interested, first Sunday of the month, right after the LA Corral over at Logan Arcade. And from 3 to 8, that's the things that I do on the Sunday. It's kind of a double header, so I did two things on Sunday, and then I did the John Forbes thing all day on Saturday. So it's been a real busy weekend. Just living the life fantastic. I was on Lumpin' Radio. I was with Glenn Russell, and he had talked to me on the last Wax On, Wax Off, which is this wonderful event over at Cafe Mustache, 2313 North Milwaukee. And they do this once a month. You call up, you say, hey, I want to do 30 minutes of this. You bring your records, and you get to hang out with a whole bunch of other people who are doing little 30-minute sets, and you just get these wonderful slices of life from all these people and their record collections. It's really great. And, of course, after one such event, Glenn goes, hey, why don't you come and, on the show, and like, really, me? And, it was very exciting.
No, the other you.
And, got there, and it was really good.
When did it air?
It aired on Wednesday. It was last Wednesday. And, so I guess, the SoundCloud should have it up there now, or, I guess you can get it from Lumpin' Radio, page as well. So if it's there, then it's on.
Okay. Well, if I find it, I'll post a link to the Squares page.
I was going to say, God forbid Ivan could post a link to the Squares page.
Well, he can. He has admin powers.
I know. I said he could.
Well, We'll find it.
Yeah, we'll find it.
I will find it.
And what else? What other craziness abides here? So right after I did the Sound in Betweens broadcast with Bionosaur, which of course is Glenn Russell's partner, and also a esteemed DJ as well. And Julie came and she hung out in the studio with us. First time she had ever seen, what the interiors of the whole radio station experience was about. So she was real happy to have been a part of that. I'm glad I brought her. And of course, just a little something, hey mom, I hope you get better. So anyway, going on, what else? I guess, So, this week I'm just laying kind of mellow like a fellow until Friday when I go back to Kohl's for my first, Friday night, 10 to 2, and, doing other things, other projects, and, so they'll be up and coming. All right. So, I'm going to throw the ball to Jeff. Hey, Jeff, how'd you,
Hold on a second. I see. My favorite is, I don't know about you, Mike, when he said he's going to do a thing, and then he's going to do another thing.
He's going to do his thing.
Right. But then he describes a thing he defines a thing by a thing.
Isn't that wonderful? I love playing word puzzles.
DJ thing. I presume it's a DJ thing.
Yes, it's my DJ thing. It's my groovy DJ thing.
Yeah, man.
Right, but we know. Oh God. I don't care.
You will never make this for.
we have people who actually listen to the show that when you talk about how you're doing your thing with your thing, that doesn't tell them anything, man.
Doesn't tell them anything.
Yeah.
About that thing.
Yes.
Okay, and that thing that I have to talk about, that thing that I should do, is make sure that I
thing you think.
Yeah, exactly.
So Jeff, how you doing? How you been? I'm sorry you're sick, man.
I've always been sick. I'm a sick individual. That's neither here nor there.
Yeah, logically.
Yes. 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 You're well, yeah. So let's see where to start. I found. So while I've been stuck in the apartment, I found I found a new show. It's on Epix, and there isn't going to be any more. There aren't going to be any more seasons, but it's 2 seasons. It's this thing called Graves, and it's like. Nick Nolte stars as a president who's been like out of office for like 25 years, and he's like this conservative kind of president guy, and he's like trying to right some of the wrongs of his past presidency and all this kind of stuff, and it's him, and then this one guy who was in Pitch Perfect, the kid, and Selena Ward's in there. Like Ernie Hudson showed up.
Hey,
they've got some. It's like they continue to pull really, really good cast, and I'm continuing to be surprised by some of the people they'll pull for cast.
You mean just guest cameos or
like cameos and just like people who'll pull play side roles or guest or like permanent few episode side roles. Like Harry Hamlin's in this thing.
Whoa. Yeah, that's the thing about not just a quick sidebar, but hey, as a reference to LA Law, like who was the guest on LA Law that week? Kind of missed that kind of television.
But there was a bunch of people, but it's funny because like the kids, of course, are these kids who were like the model kids are like a total mess, and like the one kid like just came back from Afghanistan where he was fighting for our country. Never mind that he was doing chef service.
Somebody had to do it. Yeah.
The daughter just broke up with her. The daughter just broke up with her with one of the Rockefellers, and ends up where somehow she falls in love with like a Mexican drug lord. Who gets assassinated in front of her. Now she's having his out-of-wedlock baby.
Oh, shit.
Okay. I mean, it's just one of these shows where it's like, it's a little bit of a dramedy. It's funny. There's only 2 seasons, unfortunately, but I've watched the first season or so, and obviously if you don't have Epix, you can't get to it.
So they're not making anymore?
They're not making any more.
Oh.
It has something to do with the fact that I think somebody bought Epix, and so it has something to do with one of those types of deals. But yeah, it's there's 2 seasons, and it's like I said, so far I started season 2. It's really, and the best way I can explain it is I think it's a better version of HBO's Veep. I find it kind of amusing and funny. Oh, by the way, it has nudity, which Veep does not have. So lots of naked women, which I'm okay with. So yeah, I really enjoyed that show, and yeah, so far I'm looking forward to catching the back half of it, and like I said, it's something that I kind of found fun to binge. I saw Ford and Ferrari, which I liked. I liked it a lot, Mike. I thought it was good.
It was good.
I definitely thought Christian Bale stole the show in that movie.
Well, I think they wanted to focus more on that because Carroll Shelby was, well, his character was secondary. This was more about the story of the driver, and the foreshadowing with the relationship with his son and his wife kind of focused on that. So
right. So
it was good. I liked it.
I thought it was really solid. For almost a 2.5 hour movie, I was impressed by the fact that I never felt like, oh God, when is this movie going to end?
It didn't feel like 2 hours and 30 minutes.
Right. It didn't, and I think it's more like 2:40. And it didn't feel like 2:40.
There you go.
I don't
got Polk Salad Annie stuck in my head after that movie's over.
I would
Well, yeah.
put it.
Yeah.
Great song.
You should see this movie, Ivan. It takes place in late 60s.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah, no, like I said, there's the one scene where the guy from Ferrari, the guy who owns Ferrari is literally like, tell Ford to go fuck himself, and it's like,
he says something and he has to wait for the translation, and it's not good. Yeah,
right.
That was a great scene.
Yeah, and like I said, there's some stuff in here that's really pretty amusing. I still would, again, and I'll say this because we've talked about the one thing about with Best Picture, because again, this is another one that was nominated for Best Picture. And I feel like the only things left that I haven't seen are Little Women, Marriage Story, and 1917.
Yeah, 1970 is still doing good in the theaters.
Yeah, yes it is.
Yeah.
And the only thing I can say is after watching a lot of these movies, it's not that they're not solid movies. It's like, I just don't think, if you ask me which one goes to be the Best Picture, I feel like the answer is none of the above.
Okay.
You're liking them, but you're not enjoying them to the point where like, wow, that was amazing.
Right. There's nothing.
You love them, but you're not in love with them.
Yeah.
Well, it's one of those where it's like, these are all solid movies, but
I'm not in
nothing
love.
where I'm like sitting there nothing that I've seen so far where literally I'm like, yes, without question, that is the Best Picture, period. Boom.
I heard Marriage Story is good. It's good performances.
Yeah, I haven't gotten.
But it's a kind of slow, like self-destruction of a marriage. It's like,
I don't know. I've already had 2.
I'm trying to think of anything else.
Anything else you've been up to?
A lot of this week has just been basically dealing with flu. Got friendly again with Pandora's comedy channels. So, some more Christopher Titus, some more Fluffy, some more
Christopher Titus?
Christopher Titus. He's a comedian.
Oh, okay. I thought I heard you say Titus. I was like, Damn, that's a name.
Some John Pinette, that kind of stuff. Like I said, anything just to keep my mind in.
Yeah, when I'm driving, my mother's car has XM radio, and when I'm driving that vehicle for whatever reason, I'll have either the Beatles channel or the Elvis channel. But when I'm just like bored, it's like, or 80s on 8. But when I'm bored, yeah, I'll move over to the stand-up comedy channels, and they have, it's great where you can pick and choose really good clips, so you know it's going to be good.
I guess. It's funny. I have access right now to XM, and so far when I'm in the car, it's like I'm just not even taking advantage of it, or I'm not using it like I could. And I'm like, because that possibility for subscription is coming, and I'm like, I'm using it so sparingly that I'm like, because I thought, oh, I have XM, this will be great, this will be wonderful, and I'm like, you know what? Maybe it's because with the fact that it's like you can put your podcasts on your TV, on your in through your car now. Yeah. It's like, do I need XM? I just download whatever I want to listen to, and
disseminate it there.
Yeah. Anything else you've been up to, Jeff?
Not really. Not that I can think of. I think there was stuff last week, but I can't remember what it was. Yeah, we lost some. Right. I mean, I was like, oh, I totally, nah. So.
Let us not dwell on what has happened. Let us proceed forward.
How about you, Mike?
Well, weighed in Saturday, lost a total of 20 pounds this year so far.
Woo!
Yeah, I'm doing good.
I'm not.
I've got a system. I'm glad I found a rhythm that's good, because most of my diets fail after a week. So
Mike's got a rhythm method.
Yeah, I found a good method.
So the thing I kind of laugh about with diets is the problem is people look at it as a diet.
Yeah, it is.
They don't look at it as, okay, I'm going to make some changes that are going to be permanent, that I can use, that I can continue to move forward with, and everything's going to be fine. Because if you just do it as a diet, you're going to lose the 20 pounds, you're going to put it right back.
Yeah.
You're going to put it right back.
I'll put it right back this December, I'm sure. But in the meanwhile, I'll feel good, and I'm doing good. I'm actually going through my wardrobe, and it's like I was able to fit into a pair of pants I haven't been able to fit in a while. I'm like, yay!
Hey.
It's always good to have a nice pair of pants that you can fit into that was a little bit smaller. It was a little bit tighter 2 months ago. Then now it's like, hey, comfy. All right. Watched a few more episodes of Picard. Yeah. I'm all caught up from episode 6, and good. Was it a 2-part cameo with Jerry Ryan, who was 7 of 9? That was good. And they're finally in space. It took like 3 episodes for them to get into space.
God.
Yeah.
Okay.
But
there's a build-up for you.
Well, I mean, the only thing I can say is that, in fairness, having watched the first episode, I could see how it could take them 3 episodes to get to space.
Well, you got to get he had to get his crew together and do some research, and meanwhile, things going on in the background.
Yeah, I mean, I got the impression that you could be on Earth for a little bit longer before you actually got to space. Yeah, but I do kind of laugh, because I do feel like sometimes, like, after watching Discovery, it's like, how many episodes will it take until they finally get where they're supposed to be?
Yeah, there's a lot of that too. Let's see. Picard's pretty good so far. I'm digging it. I'm not hating it at all. So.
But you're not in love with it.
I'm liking it. I'm not it's not TNG or Deep Space Nine, but I'm still liking it. Let's go see Picard.
All right.
A little bit Toy Fair wrap up. Saw some cool stuff at Toy Fair and pre-ordered a couple $100 worth of stuff last weekend.
All right.
Due in the summertime, so I'll have some months. The new Titan class Scorponok that's coming this summer.
Okay, the original. For those of us who don't speak Transformer,
it's a big scorpion that makes robots. It's a big scorpion that makes a robot. An homage to the
Okay.
toy from 1987. Let's see. So we saw the trailer for this Netflix Transformer series that's coming.
Yeah, I saw that. That looks interesting.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Hopefully it's something substantive and not like this Cyberverse YouTube stuff that's just kind of like, I don't know,
Random.
bright colors and, yeah, like not very substantive. This one looks like there could be some substance to it. Like the Autobots are like questioning why we're even in this war. We should just like trying to keep the race from going extinct.
Something that, something that's kind of rooted in philosophy.
Yeah, exactly. Some deeper, ideas.
Theology.
That's part of what was great about the early IDW stuff, is that it really took some good, deep philosophical terms.
Ideologies, philosophical terms.
Yeah. But let's see, what else? Oh yeah, I was right about that, more into Toy Fair stuff. We was right about this 6-inch G.I. Joe line, and it has potential. It looks good so far.
As far as like the designs and everything, are they clean? Do they look good?
Yeah, it's a kind of reimagining. It's not just slavish to their original designs from the early 80s, but ever since, seeing as Hasbro's got their shit together with the Star Wars Black Series and the Marvel Legends, it only stands to reason that this would be a good way to resuscitate the G.I. Joe line. And
okay.
It works.
And the thing about it is, especially in these times, in the broad view of the armed forces as it is today, to try to make something like, G.I. Joe relative and or conducive, to what's happening now,
Mm-hmm.
I bet you that would have been a big challenge.
Yeah. But,
here's a question. Because, obviously Netflix, G.I. Joe and Transformers, same company, and there's been talk for a while about the fact that about creating a shared universe. Rather than trying to do it first in live action, it would make a lot more sense if they started with, a movie, a decent animated movie on something like Netflix. That would make a lot of sense.
Yeah, they've done plenty of crossovers in the comics, both with Dreamwave and IDW. And again, of course, the old Marvel series, too.
Now, as far as trying to address it as animation, as 2D regular or 3D, CGI, what are we looking at?
Maybe they go the 2D, DC Universe kind of route. I think would be a better approach. Well, of course, DC Universe is also a mix of CG, too. It's not all just 2D style.
Right, but, if you incorporate them either one or the other or one and the other.
Yeah, sure. I'm all for it. Any kind of crossovers, if they're good. But we'll see.
I
don't know if, Jeff, you saw anything from the pictures at Toy Fair that caught your interest? I know it's all toy-centric and you don't collect toys, but...
I didn't see a lot of pictures from Toy Fair. So, and in fairness, I feel like I saw something that clicked in my brain, but not off the top of my head. In fairness, there hasn't been... Sometimes I'm looking at Toy Fair because it's, okay, there's a lot of clues about whatever's coming out in the summer in terms of movies, about, you get clues in terms of what certain things look like. But there's nothing that has me excited enough so far this summer to be literally kind of sitting there and oh, yeah, I definitely wanted to kind of look and see. I'm sure there'll be decent movies this summer, but at the same time, I'm I don't know. That was a long way of saying no.
Okay.
What did you see that was interesting, Mike?
Well, like I said, another thing was, probably the only thing that really caught my eye was that they're moving, because probably having to do with the purchase of Fox and its properties, that Hasbro Marvel Legends is also doing the X-Men based on the movie likenesses. We're gonna get a Hugh Jackman Wolverine and cast members based on a McAvoy, Xavier and stuff like that. Because I still have, I've got a Marvel shelf of MCU heroes.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm missing one or two from the MCU that I'd like to just put on a shelf and say, yay, done. But it's not high on my priority list. I'm sorry?
What are they?
I don't have a Scarlet Witch. There's a 2-pack with the Vision that came out. I missed it, and now it's going for stupid money on the secondary market. But I think there's an SH Figuarts version of Scarlet Witch that I might use and put that in as well. Yeah, substitute. Well, it's an upgrade more than a substitute. And Figuarts is way better than Marvel Legends, but you're paying for more, so higher quality.
Okay. Yes.
But yeah, I don't think I was caught my eye at Star Wars. Because HasLab, first they teased a possible Sentinel. The next HasLab kind of project. Because the first one was a Jabba's sailing barge, and then this one is Unicron, and then hopefully the next one, if they do a next one, there'll be a Sentinel that might be to scale with the Marvel Legends. That'd be kind of cool.
A scale as in size?
As in big.
Be careful with that, because then what are you going to do? What's your plan about what you're going to do for the scale the size for Galactus at that point?
Yeah, troop build. You're going to troop build that? I don't think so.
Yeah.
Bigger Galactus. It won't fit in my glass cabinet.
I still remember when HeroClix was really, really a big thing.
Yep.
And it's still sort of there, and it's still got some popularity. But yeah, they had the HeroClix Galactus. That thing was like 4 feet tall.
And the HeroClix or 1 inch tall.
Yeah. Well, I mean, to put to scale,
makes sense.
And those things were like on the official market they were $75, and online. But once it got past that, they were like 150, 250. Oh, yeah. The coolest was Gen Con. At one point in Gen Con, they were running an Netflix. I keep wanting to say Netflix. HeroClix was running what they called Battle for Galactus. So what would happen is Galactus is powerful enough that he could pretty much battle everybody at the table.
At once.
Yeah. Okay. And he has enough hit points. So the deal is this, is there going to be like 30 people like playing at the table, and the objective was whoever hit the killing blow got the Galactus. So needless to say, there were no rules that said that you couldn't attack other people while you were trying to attack the Galactus. So it's like a giant free-for-all battle royal. Because it's like, your goal is to knock the Galactus down. At the same time, it's like, damn,
but if I'm the last one standing,
let that guy over there get my Galactus.
Yeah, but you're busy punching Spider-Man. Galactus is going to step on you.
Well, like I said, and again, I don't know what size teams they were allowing either for you to bring for them like that. So you could have multiple guys. That was one of the problems that I had with HeroClix for a while too. Was it doesn't? It's a cool thing, but it doesn't. They use stuff from the comics, but really in reality, like for example, it's like, if I have 4 versions of Spider-Man number 5. In theory, I could build that I could do an entire team of Spider-Man number 5, and it's like, that's stupid. I mean, it's not stupid, but you get it's like, that's not how it works. You're supposed to be playing like comic book shit.
Right.
That's like, it's just dumb.
So the winner was probably like a 6-year-old girl who had using Squirrel Girl or something that
Well, no, this was this is a long time ago. There, so probably no Squirrel Girl.
Oh yeah, there's no.
But, yeah, this was a long time ago.
Oh, okay.
But yeah, I mean, I don't know who was like the winner, but yeah, I didn't play. I just was aware of it. And there was
Yeah, I don't have any gaming lined up. We're having trouble with scheduling issues, so we'll try and get one in a couple of weeks. But yeah, it sucks.
Yeah, I got one coming up in a couple of weeks. But yeah, I mean, I know what it was that I saw. I'm guessing I saw it from Toy Fair. Is apparently HeroClix is now making a wrestling clicks game with the WWE, which ironically I'm kind of like laughing. I'm like, that game system actually might work with that.
Can I get a Rowdy Piper?
I don't know if they have a Rowdy Piper.
Aww.
I have no idea who they have as... Hold on, let me see if I can find it.
That was not on my radar. I can
find what they got.
I want to find out who's in there. I want to find out who they're going to release that with. I'm curious.
I don't know who the original...
Did you watch The Toys That Made Us about the wrestling yet? It's on Netflix.
No,
okay.
I have not.
Okay. You'd find that interesting.
Hold on. Expansions, apparently, so apparently there was hold on a second, I'm trying to see.
Take your time.
It looks like this started back in September or something like that. Let's see what they had. I just want to see who they have. I don't know that I really... Powers for beginners. Yeah, I don't care about the powers. I just want to see who you have.
Heart Brothers.
Yeah, they're... Okay, again. Come on. Products.
Just snap it to a Slim Jim. That would be cool.
Hold on. Let's see if I can. Expansion Series 1.
Okay.
Let's see if I can find... Okay, AJ Styles. Andre the Giant.
Okay.
Asuka.
Okay.
I don't know if you know who Asuka is. The Big Show.
Right.
I was like, yeah, right. Eddie Guerrero. Oh, there's an Eddie Guerrero. That'd be kind of cool. Let's see. Finn Balor. Who cares? John Cena, obviously. Kane. There's a Kane. They going on. Oh, they got Randy Savage. That's pretty cool.
All right.
Oh, that's neat looking. So they have Randy Savage suspended in like air, like he's coming down with the elbow. That's kind of cool looking.
Yeah, with his signature move.
Well, right. But
off the top rope.
But yeah, but depicted in that way. But that's cool. Is it kind of like a shelf piece or?
No, it's for the game.
Base. It's on it's part of the game. There's a clip there. Ric Flair, Roman Reigns.
Oh, okay.
Roman Reigns. Essentially, it's a game. Ronda Rousey's here.
Okay.
I'm not seeing Roddy Piper. Sasha Banks, Steve Austin, The Rock,
Undertaker.
I'm assuming the Triple H is here. Trish Stratus, yeah, Undertaker. It looks like this is. Let's see if I can. There might have been more of a starter set, but I'm not finding it yet at the moment. But yeah, I mean. I'm curious to see how some of this would work, but it certainly seems like it could be.
It seems like fun, man. It seems interesting.
It could be. It's the part where it's like, is this going to be? Hold on, Rock and Sock Connection starter. So let's see. Okay, see, they actually have a starter pack that's coming. That they're doing. That's going to be The Rock, Mankind, Stone Cold Steve Austin, Triple H, Ric Flair, and Shawn Michaels. Now that's probably
that's heavy.
$25. That's probably a smart.
That's probably a smart way to go.
That's probably a smart call.
Yeah, Okay.
I'm just curious to see if they, because it's funny. I did see something that said Hulk Hogan on it, so I can't imagine that they don't have.
I'm sure. Yeah, they gotta have Hulk Hogan.
I'm sure they have the.
But with the system, is there going to be an actual ring that you can click around? I mean,
well, my problem is I'm trying to find the basic base set. Let's see. You can buy them in the WWE shop.
Of course.
Let's see.
They're pre-orders. The toys aren't out yet. This game isn't out yet.
Like I said, it's well, apparently this has been out for a little bit.
Oh, okay.
It looks like. But anyway, so there. I thought that looked interesting. Or somebody showed it to me that I thought looked kind of cool. But the question is like I said, if it's one of those things, if it's like, okay, here's my 4 Ronda Rouseys versus you, it's like, okay, dumb.
Yeah, and having clones,
That's stupid.
Having copies.
Yeah. That's just silly.
Well, it's different with Marvel because you can say it's from another universe or whatever.
Okay, so my favorite was I was at a convention and there is clearly, I'm looking at the guy's playing and he's like, yeah, so I'm going to move Kid Flash here. And I'm looking at the way that the uniform is painted and I'm like, that ain't Kid Flash. Like, this is Kid Flash. I'm like, no, it's not.
Does it say Kid Flash on the base?
Yes. But it's clear, but everything about the figure looks like Impulse. The entire figure was painted to look like Impulse, but yet it's called It's called Kid Flash. And I'm like, that's not Kid Flash. It's like, well, that's what it says here, and this is what it is. I'm like, well, then this is stupid.
Oh man.
So you've created so it's basically about the game, not about the fact that the
figure is not
speaking
correct.
of which, I was meaning to catch that Red Sun animated feature. It's out on digital, but it's not on DVD yet.
Yeah, I saw like a preview clip for 2 seconds where it's like there's like a squadron of lanterns like headed towards him and all that stuff. And
yeah, because Luthor hooked up a computer to the ring and he broke the codes. So then Hal Jordan volunteered to pilot to as the Lantern, and anyway, but all the whatever. I'm not sure how loosely or how much they're going to tie to the original comic.
Right.
I'm still interested in seeing it. I like those.
Mark Miller, right. The Mark Miller comic, yeah.
Right. That's out. And
Mark Miller has written a lot of good stuff. There's Red Sun, Civil War on the Marvel side. Mark, and now obviously Mark Mark still has projects that haven't come out yet with Netflix because he signed that big deal with them. Where there's supposed to be a whole bunch of he's supposed to put out a whole bunch of content.
Yeah, you said all original content as well?
Yeah, original content. Yeah. And I think Wanted is now reverted to where it could be one of the pieces in that content. Because Wanted is his, Kingsman is his, Kick-Ass is his. That's all Mark Miller. I mean...
That's some heavy duty viewage, man.
Yeah. Well, no, like I said, that's why it's funny because some people are like, well, how much money could you possibly make in comics? It's not to say everybody's going to do that.
Yeah, everybody can't be this dude.
Yeah.
Right.
And not everybody's going to be, turn into, that guy, but,
Or you could be Cartoon Network.
Well, I don't know about the Cartoon Network. I don't think at this point Cartoon Network's interested in that kind of stuff.
No,
that's what I'm saying.
Yeah, exactly.
That's my point. Okay, look.
Who was I talking to? Probably John. Probably Suntress. I think I was talking to John about this, where it was, where a lot of the problem with that is that is a lot of the intricacies of Warner, of the fact that some of that stuff is stuff where, even though it's within Warner, they have to pay themselves to use or do certain things to where it's like, that's just silly.
Well, okay, I mean, in certain viewings of Cartoon Network, I find that the artist style is now become similar from one show to the next. And just the whole, okay, yeah.
The point I'm getting at, Ivan, is that they're at a point now where it's about, whereas they have to pretty much generate and create and build their own content versus using the libraries that they have, because the libraries that they have are another division of Warner, to where you practically have to give them money because it has to do with an accounting thing. There's too much of that shit that's going on at Warner, and I just kind of laugh, because it's like, that's part of the reason why, there's been certain issues over there. But yeah, that's why, honestly, you don't see a lot of DC product on, with the exception of Titans Go, because they did Titans Go and they weren't planning on it being a long-term, long-run thing. But it's so popular they can't get rid of the show.
It's like SpongeBob.
Right.
It's sinking Nickelodeon.
But eventually, if they don't own the show, they're not making enough money on it.
Right.
So that becomes,
they want to try and launch something that's exclusive to their own ownership.
Right, and that's what it becomes the problem. Is it's because I've sat there and I'm like, I don't get it. They're all one and the same, but not every entity does that the way they should, which is the smart.
It's not as tenuous as Sony and Marvel with Spider-Man, but it's still, you own part of it. Why am I giving some of my money to you?
Okay, so it's all about money.
Yes, it is. Follow the money.
Oh yeah, absolutely. But speaking of which, as long as we're on Warner, the big news that came out is
in our absence.
In our absence. Well, in fairness, it's not even in our absence, because C2E2 is this weekend here in town.
Yep, that happened this weekend.
And so we kind of got a little bit more information on that, which is, right now the answer to the question is that the editor, the CEO of DC Comics is going to pretty much be Jim Lee, which is kind of surprising. I expected that they'd bring somebody else in, and maybe they still will. Maybe there's, it's still fresh about everything that happened with Dan DiDio, and the fact that Dan is gone, and he's been a staple there for 10 plus years, and it's kind of a shocking, suddenly kind of thing. But there's good and there's bad with Dan. There's good and bad. There's certain things that Dan did well. There's certain people that he helped in the business and whatnot, and got them where they wanted to be.
I read that article you sent to me.
At the same time, Dan had plans at one point to kill Nightwing, because he's
got a hard-on against Nightwing.
Well, he has a hard-on because he has a hard-on about repetitive characters. Like, for example, why do we have 4 Robins? And it's like, unfortunately, right now you have 4 Robins. And so they're trying to figure out what to do with all that kind of stuff, which is where this 5G thing keeps coming and ends up being talked about, and it's like, okay. But yeah, I was kind of surprised that it seems as though right now, Jim Lee's in charge of DC Comics, and, we're talking about a guy who once upon a time started out as just an artist that showed up at Marvel one day, and then the whole Image thing, and now the guy's running pretty much the day-to-day for the entire comics division.
Well, good on him. I hope he finds a lot of success in his new job.
I don't know. Like I said, this 5E thing, this 5E thing. And I know you kind of read a little bit about it. It sounds like they're slowing the roll a little bit on it, but I just don't understand why they can't figure out that they don't need to have to figure out how everybody fits in terms of a timeline. It's fucking fiction.
Well, you don't know. You got to know what age is what character. You can't have old man Batman. You're gonna have the younger Batman. You can have, you know, how it is.
I guess, but I mean, like for
But
example,
how do you make a multi-character singular after so many decades of those type of comics coming?
What do you mean, Ivan?
What I mean is, okay, you got 4 Robins. All right, fine. How are you going to try to shrink it down from the 4 Robins into one character?
especially when you consider the fact that you've got, well, in fairness, there's really technically more than 4, but I just
use that number because I'm just listening to the conversation.
Right. Yeah. But the point being is, every one of those Robins has a fan base.
So
those characters are viable characters that have fan bases. So the truth is, you really should figure out a way to make it work with having those characters. But
but it just, you know, you have all these characters, all these fan bases. Doesn't it splinter the story because of the fact that there's 4, 5, 6 different variations of the story, or even if the stories are individualistic among themselves?
Not really, because really, like for example, Dick Grayson hasn't been Robin now in 40 years.
Okay.
Let me try that again. In current DC continuity, he hasn't been Robin in 40 years.
All right.
He hasn't been Robin since the 80s.
Okay.
The next Robin would be Jason Todd. Jason Todd died somewhere in the late 80s, early 90s, I think. So he really isn't even Robin anymore, but he was a Robin. Tim Drake was the next Robin, and he's pretty much been Robin for about 20 years. He's still around, but they have him under a different identity now.
Okay.
So it's not like they're all Robin. It's just that they've all been Robin.
Okay.
And have since moved on or died or whatever.
Right. The problem that they're having is, like, for example, if you have like the current Robin is Damian Wayne, okay, who is the love child of Bruce Wayne and Talia al Ghul, okay.
Okay.
So that's the current Robin. And what certain people would take issue with is, all right, so now what do we do with, like, for example, Tim Drake? What do we do? What do we do with Tim Drake? Where does he go? What does he do? Never mind that there are people who want to still see stories with Tim Drake, and there's plenty of things you could do with him. But certain people seem to be confused about how some of these characters fit in. Just like, for example, a lot of the characters that were originally the original sidekicks from like the 60s through pretty much, let's call it the 90s at some point. Okay? Some of those characters have kind of disappeared from and when I say disappeared, they're not being used very well. Like, for example, the Roy Harpers, the Donna Troys, those characters are not being found a way to be used because they don't know, because the problem is that they're trying to fit them into continuity wise, and it's like, why do they have to fit in at all? And some of it has, the theory is, well, you know, how do you have, you know, how do you have grown up Roy Harper sitting and talking with grown-up Oliver Queen? And the answer is, who cares?
Yeah, you got to pick one. Yeah.
It's like, who cares? Why is that important? Yeah, it doesn't make. There's certain things that don't make logical sense. Guess what? It doesn't make logical sense.
These are dudes who dress in their underwear on the outside.
Yeah, it's comics.
Yeah.
Yeah, bright colors. Want to be
that
noticed.
Pow, Biff.
You know.
No.
Yeah. In theory, Batman's 80 years old. I mean, Batman's 80 years old, but now they're talking about finding ways to. Now they're talking about finding ways to freshen up some of these characters, particularly the original characters like your Supermans, your Batmans, and a lot of that stuff. And I'm not against some of it. At the same time, here's the thing: you gotta be careful with some of that. Marvel absolutely had huge backlash when they went to go do this, because they all did it. Perfect example. They all did it at the same time.
Right.
They all did it at the exact same time, and nobody at editorial was paying attention to go, hey, you know what? Maybe it's not a good thing that every one of our major characters seems to not be the original character right now. When Captain America isn't Captain America right now, and Iron Man isn't Iron Man right now, and Hulk isn't Hulk, and Spider-Man isn't Spider-Man, and everybody is not everybody, all at the same time, perhaps that wasn't well thought through.
The reaction was obvious when
right.
people voted with their wallets.
Well, it's not even that it's voted with their wallets. Look, I don't have a problem with Hulk. Amadeus Cho as Hulk. I have a problem with the fact that why can't there be both? Why can't we get the adventures of Bruce Banner as the Hulk? And why can't we have Amadeus Cho as the Hulk? Who cares? There's audiences for both. Figure it out.
No, well.
It's not that free.
Printed media is, well, is what
Printed
it is.
media.
Yeah, but yeah, it's, I don't know. I don't have the numbers in front of me as to how things are going in that regard. But
my favorite is there was a rumor out there that there was a rumor that this 5G doesn't work, that Warner's is going to lease out the comic division to Marvel to make the comics, and I'm like, that's the biggest load of crap I've ever heard in my life.
Marvel can do no wrong, and Marvel's going to take over DC.
Happening.
Show them what for. It's like, no, that's not going to happen.
That's not happening.
It's like the Ford division making cars in a GM plant. That's not going to happen.
Yeah. First of all, one of the things, and this is the other part that I keep laughing about, is for all the talk about that the comics are not that the actual leaflet booklets are not selling the way they should. Meanwhile, some of those stories are translating into cartoons and movies and all that stuff like that. And what they're not making on the one end, they're making on the other. So, I don't know. I just kind of keep laughing about the whole thing, because it's like there are certain sites like Cosmic. First, I'll tell you right now, you see something from Cosmic News, run like fucking hell. Seriously. Or like one of the people they're quoting on this DC story is Ethan Van Sciver. Ethan Van Sciver hasn't been with DC in a while, and that's the guy that everybody keeps talking about, keeps posting shit that's like racist. Why are we quoting that guy? That's a good source. The other one I always love is, what is it? We got this covered. They're horrible too. They're bad. They're not any good.
Kotaku's not as good as it used to either, as far as their news. Kotaku.
I don't even know what that is.
It's a news site.
Okay.
I used to follow them, but then they just got all clickbaity. So.
Yeah, Comic Book Resources got all clickbaity too. It didn't used to be. They've gotten all clickbaity, just like some of the stuff that comicbook.com is now is just brutal. It's like, oh God. It's like, we've got check out this, like, my favorite is when they do, like, the fan series, but they try to make it seem like news.
Yeah.
And you're like, this isn't even fucking news.
Right.
This
you gotta dig deep to find the substance of what they're talking about, but then it's all editorial. It's not. It's fan speculation.
It's not even editorial. I don't give a shit about what Twitter 599er 5er had to say.
Yeah.
I don't give a shit about this.
You read with scrutiny in your mind.
Oh my good lord! It's like, or like they'll put something up that looks cool, then they'll go like, and then you'll find out it was a fan poster. It wasn't a real poster.
Yeah.
Right.
And you're like,
yeah, there was
what the?
It's like over the weekend we talked about this last show briefly about Tom Holland as Doc Brown and Marty McFly. And sure enough, like a few days later, I saw a news site with a headline saying, "Oh, Back to the Future reboot is in the works. It's in the talks." But then there was an article on Yahoo Today about one of the writers from Back to the Future said, "No, there's no reboot. No, I'm not whoring out. I'm not selling my children into prostitution." Pretty much is what he said.
I did see something where they actually had a quote from Tom Holland that he said he talked to them about it.
Maybe he talked to somebody, but the movie's not in the works. Just because somebody talked to somebody.
That it's been talked to. That they talked to somebody about it. That it wasn't.
Yeah.
Because I think that's how it got back into the out there was that Tom Holland doing all the press for Onward. So that's probably where that came in. He
and Chris Pratt said that they wanted to do a D&D adventure with other Avengers.
That's the other thing I wanted to talk about.
I'm
all
rock.
In.
I would be. I don't know.
Can I be the GM? Can I GM the game?
What? Can
I be the dungeon master? I'll dungeon master for them. I'm all for that. Although I don't know if I have 5th edition. I'd have to learn 5th edition. I'd learn 5th edition to GM for those guys.
Yeah.
I'd have to learn 5th edition, though.
And there you go.
Yeah, there you go. Yeah. Forget that. Why would you play D&D? At that point, it's like, okay, we're going to play Marvel. I'll let you play. You can play Spider-Man.
Oh, here we go. Here it comes.
You get to play Star-Lord, and we'll do it up.
Okay.
I mean,
no, let the Avengers role play in a DC RPG.
Yeah, Marvel will be thrilled with that.
Yeah.
Marvel will be thrilled with
Mouse
that.
would be like,
actually,
what the?
Seriously, you know what? Seriously, if I was Marvel, I would do that. I would sit there and I'd be like, okay, let's create like a new Marvel role-playing game, and let's get Chris Pratt and Tom Holland and all these guys together and let them play their characters and actually like get a GM and let them role play.
Yeah, there you go.
I'd watch. That could be fucking awesome. I'd watch that.
That was one other thing. Quick side note. I just wanted to shout out. One last thing I remembered from Toy Fair was a Lego set of the Mandalorian ship, complete with IG-11 and Baby Yoda. I think I need that.
Oh, that's the other thing. Like, there was 1 million Baby Yoda toys that are coming. Well,
yep, yeah, that's another thing of Toy Fair. They had a whole thing on Good Morning America the couple days before Toy Fair. And, yep, it's going to be a Baby Yoda Christmas. I mean, you can tell they really dropped the ball on that last year for Baby Yoda merchandise because there was none.
Well, yeah.
Yeah. But anyway,
there's an animatronic one for $60.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, an animatronic one, yeah. That has like 30 sounds and moves with its arms and blinks and...
Oh, boy.
Yep, all the Baby Yodas. Yeah, my niece finally watched. She was busy. She with her job. So she finally came over and with the family here. We watched the finale to The Mandalorian. She hadn't watched it yet, so.
Okay. I still haven't watched it yet. I gotta get to
Dude,
it.
you need to see The Mandalorian, man. It was good.
Again!
It wasn't good. It didn't blow me away, but it was really good. I liked it.
Again, okay. Season 2 ain't coming out until like
October.
Fall.
Yeah.
I have plenty of time to see 8 episodes. I am not in a super, super duper rush. I got a little bit of time.
Falcon and Winter Soldier comes in August, and
does that come in August? Okay, so sometime soon I will sit down and watch the 8 episodes. See, that's the thing. That's the reason why I'm not in a hurry. It's like there's nothing else that I need to buy Marvel. I need to buy Disney Plus for. I mean, seriously, I'm like, what am I going to buy it for?
Yeah. Well, maybe when I'll see Ivan, he'll be here in a couple of weeks before DairyCon. Maybe I'll get him to watch an episode of The Mandalorian.
All right, cool. I'll be down with that.
Yeah. So let's see. What other news do we have? Of course, I'm going to see Onward this weekend, so next week we'll have my thoughts on that. Yes, I sounded the horn of Gondor, and everyone's like, nope, busy, nope, can't do it. Taking my kids this weekend. No, I'm busy. A friend of mine is going to D.C. in a couple weeks for their the foreign exchange student. He's going to speak to our local representative for that. So it's like, oh man, so I had to only got like 3 people in total to see Onward because we usually have like a crew. Because like we'll have a crew of when the Black Widow movie comes in 2 months. That's 2 months.
So you're not gonna? Are you gonna get in like the big van, like the kind of like the van like they have in the movie? So
with the wizard painted on the side. Yeah.
Yeah, and be like, whoa.
Or the dragon. Yeah.
Yeah, we had great looks back in the 70s.
Yeah, man.
Yeah, man.
So what else happened while we were gone? Oh yeah, the Robert Pattinson in the bat suit, the bat cycle. Which looks pretty much like a modified Indian. What I'm told. I'm not an expert on motorcycles, but it doesn't look like the whole like Dark Knight bat pod or anything like that. It's just like a motorcycle with kind of just a black kind of bat thing on the front behind the headlight.
I'm really kind of trying to avoid the pictures on that.
But the bat suit looks good.
Okay.
Looks fine. I'm still going to go see it.
It kind of, the little bit of it I saw reminded me of like the Adam West Batman suit.
Really? It's all black though.
A little, but the face part looks like.
You mean like the cowl?
Like the Adam West. Yeah, like the whole.
He doesn't have like the eyebrows like stenciled in.
I don't know. Does he have nipples?
No, I don't think so. Just as the big silver bat symbol across the almost like chrome kind of.
Oh God! So now they're going away from that. See, that was the one thing about the Affleck Batman that was the closest I've seen to anything that looks like what a Batman suit that looks like something that you'd see in the comic books. That was the closest. Everything else looks like some sort of like.
I like the armor he had in BVS.
I don't know. Like I said, it just after a while, sometimes you just feel like, okay.
But you didn't see the pictures of Pattinson?
I saw like a little bit. I don't know.
Internet leaked pictures.
I'm not there yet. I'm not ready for.
And Toy Fair also showed more of the McFarlane 7-inch DC line.
Did it?
Yeah, that's okay.
Did you see that McFarlane did? McFarlane did online. He did a sketch. Not a sketch. It was a full-on art piece. It's Spawn and Spider-Man, and I guess he hasn't drawn Spider-Man in like almost 30 years.
Has it been that long since he started his own? When he started Spawn on his own?
Yeah, that sounds about right.
Spawn's been out there forever, but yeah,
it was early almost 30 years, because it was early 90 was when Spawn showed up. Like it hit its stride in the mid 90s.
I'm trying to remember when McFarlane had the Spider-Man book. when it was like that was the hot book.
That would have been in the 80s, right?
No. It's in the 90s.
Okay.
That's
the
in
early
the 90s. Because that was at that time frame when everybody was. He was one of his Spider-Man book was one of the first books where they did the bag, the bag that they would do where they would bag the comic, and everybody was in that. It was in that time whenever.
Well, they polybagged the death of Superman.
Right. Well, but his Spider-Man, the first Spider-Man #1, that was like one of the first like books where it was like they did the polybag, and then that's where the trend came in, where it was like people be like, oh, well, I got Spider-Man #1, it's in good condition. It's like, oh, did you take it out of the bag? Well, of course I took it out of the bag.
Yeah, I wanted to read it.
Wanted to read it. Well, if it's outside of the bag, it's this much. Are you kidding me? This is where all that bag shit started about. Take it out of the bag, and it's got to stay in the bag.
Do the bag.
And the 90s were that time where people did multiple covers about stuff, and then everything was in a bag. So it was like you bought one copy, you bought
cover
two copies,
variations.
You bought
alternate.
two copies.
Don't get me started on alternate covers.
Alternate cover variations. Yeah.
Retailer incentives and no.
Well, no, but there was you buy two copies of anything that was polybagged, which was here's the copy that I'm going to read, and here's the copy that stays in the bag.
For collector value, right.
For collector value. Because I had, like, you mentioned about Death of Superman. Yeah, I had the one that I owned, I had the one that I opened, and the one I kept in the bag. And, yeah, absolutely. No. And by the way, if you want to talk about the ultimate cover variant, when Jim Lee's group released Gen 13, because it's Gen 13, there were 13 alternate covers.
Makes sense.
Whoa.
In fairness, they were all kick-ass and pretty cool. Like, there's the one that has, like, the one that looks like the Janet Jackson If. I can't remember where all the different ones are, but they were all pretty damn cool.
Is anything going? It reminds me. Is there anything going on in the CW verse right now, or is that all?
I'm trying to think. I gotta be honest with you. I'm pretty done. I'm kind of done with Flash right now. I'm getting tired of it. I'm kind of getting bored. Supergirl's been solid, and I've enjoyed it, and that continues to be a good, solid show. Batwoman is Legends of Tomorrow is solid, but again, how do I put this? Legends of Tomorrow is solid, but I feel like they've created a lot of their own heroes and a lot of their own characters now, to the point of where I'm like, okay, where are the like superheroes? If you understand what I mean.
Yeah, not just exceptional people that are just like smart or whatever.
Well, it's not just that. It's like,
are they just original characters or new characters?
Right. They've created original characters and new characters that they have created through the show that are now part of the regular casting at times. And that's fine. At the same time, it's like, but now it's like the amount of actual characters that are real characters that are in the real books, it's like dwindling down. Like, we keep losing real characters. And I like John Constantine, but I feel like ever since they got John Constantine on the show's gone, I don't know, I feel like it's lost something in terms of direction, because he just goes an entire different direction than where the show goes sometimes, because he's not really as wonky as they are, which is frustrating. Like, well, you know what I'm talking about, because you watched the Crisis thing. I mean, the Bebo thing is hysterical.
Yeah, that was cool. I remember that.
Yeah. The Bebo thing is hysterical. I don't know. Like I said,
I was like, this you dealt with this thing before? It's like, this thing you guys always doing? I'm like, yeah.
Yeah. Like I said, I don't know. The CW stuff is
meh.
The CW stuff is, I don't know. It's just kind of there for me at the moment.
Okay.
Meh.
Until there's a finale or some kind of major event.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, in fairness, Black Lightning's been better. Black
Is that in
Lightning's
season
better
2 or
than-
you're still in season 1?
Black Lightning?
Black Lightning.
Season 3.
Oh, season 3. Okay.
And they're kind of creating the outsiders in Black Lightning. And it's been, at first this season at points was kind of like, but it's gotten stronger along the way. And it's gotten better. So it's slowly but surely picked up steam. And it's gotten a lot better. If anything, if someone said to me, pick two of the shows to watch, I would tell you Supergirl without question, and then it would either be Legends of Tomorrow or Black Lightning, depending on your taste. But at this point, Flash, I like the characters, but it's been boring as fuck. I don't even care.
Have they just run all the gambit of all his Rogues Gallery, or?
I don't even really know how to explain what they're doing.
What's going on?
I'm just
interest is deep.
Some of the characters that are his rogues didn't. How do I say? They played them off like villains of the week at times, like Weather Wizard. They played him off like his villain of the week, rather than maybe that's a villain that you could have had more than that out of, or for example, you of Tomorrow, because they were so popular and everybody was enjoying the hell out of them, that you moved them to Legends of Tomorrow, and that's great.
But they're Flash's foils.
They were Black and Cold is a really big Flash villain.
Yeah,
and he
was the one from the Super Friends and Legion of Doom. I remember that.
Right. Well, not only that, Captain Cold is more of a to see them kind of match wits and it be more of kind of like a crime wave kind of thing, and he's got to have to catch him and prove that he's done this or that. But they didn't do that. Lately, they haven't hit speedsters, thank God. But I don't even know what they're doing in the back half of this season. It looks like something having to do with Mirror Master, but I just don't care.
No.
I just don't care. It's yeah, I don't know.
Let's see. I don't know if we have anything else. I don't know. Obviously keep forgetting what we've covered.
Right, I'm trying to
lost last week.
Oh, I know what I was going to say, because Ivan's a music guy. Bernie Sanders is killing Public Enemy.
Oh, come on. That whole Flavor Flav article, give me a break.
No,
the old guy was out. The old guy should have been ousted long ago.
Well, Chuck D and Flavor Flav have been at odds for a long time, right?
Right.
Yeah. I mean, it's the old, Family Feud, type bullshit, in between them, and then, they get back together. He gets fired, they get back together. It's just the same old shit.
Now he says he can't be fired. I don't know how you get fired if you're Flavor Flav. You don't really get fired, do you? I mean, isn't he a founder? How is he not? Well, maybe he doesn't have rights.
No, exactly. And that's the word. Ding, ding, ding. You win a quarter.
Yeah, but at the same time, for example, they've been putting out there, they've been doing, the logos with the big clock. Well, okay, if Flavor Flav ain't going to be there, there ain't going to be no big clock at Bernie's fucking thing.
Yeah, put Bernie Sanders, put the clock around Bernie Sanders' neck.
Yeah, seriously.
I'm to rap.
You can't just give it to me. You have to share it with everyone.
Redistributing the time on the clock.
Yeah, we're going to distribute the clock. We're going to cut it into pieces.
And make sure none of the billionaires get to listen.
Yeah.
Oh, my goodness.
Well, hopefully they can solve their political strife and then Public Enemy can get back together.
Ring. I think they should get in the ring. I think it should be...
Cage match!
WWF thing. There you go.
Would you have people a celebrity boxing match? Flavor Flav versus Chuck D.
Celebrity grudge match. We need more celebrity grudge matches. Not just duke it out on Twitter. Do it for realsies.
That's the only reason I brought it up. Is I just think it's hysterical because this whole thing started because of Bernie Sanders. Because Public Enemy is doing an appearance for Bernie Sanders. Which, by the way, let's just put it where it is. Where if you told them, in what is it? What was it? 90 or 88, Ivan? When was Fight the Power? Fight the Power is what?
88.
88?
Yeah.
If you told them 88 that in 40 years you're gonna be on stage with an old decrepit Jewish white guy.
Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness.
They look at you like you were freaking crazy.
Time to lay down the fat beats.
Time to lay down the fat beats. But we're going to distribute the beats because we can't let one person get fat, right?
Oh my goodness.
We need to get, you know what? Wow, Mike, you really do have the Bernie Sanders down.
Yes, he does.
We need
Wait till the debates. I can't wait for the. Although I don't know. From the way it looks like, it looks like it's going to be Joe Biden.
I don't know.
I don't know. I don't want to. We don't want to get into. We just only brought up the public enemy thing, but yeah, well, politics ain't this show. But
right, no. Normally we don't talk about politics. I just thought it was funny because it's like Bernie Sanders is destroying public enemy. When did
it stop being political?
I don't know if that's really political, is it?
Just more celebrity hilarity.
Just like the whole concept of the idea of public enemy and Bernie Sanders to begin with.
Well, it's right now, with everybody dropping out and saying, "Oh my gosh, my grandparents are going to be in the White House."
Oh, I said that.
Yes, right.
I said that. I said that.
Yeah,
we're really going to talk about it. Yeah, I think it's hysterical. We talk about all this diversity and how we want choices and how we want more diversity, and they all freaking picked a bunch of 70-year-old white people. Diversity. I don't want to hear about diversity anymore from the Democrats. You picked a bunch of 70-year-old white people.
I'm on the sidelines watching from here, man.
Yes, Bernie is 79, Bloomberg is 78, Joe Biden is 77.
And Warren is like 70.
She's 71.
Is she 71?
Yeah.
Yeah, like I said. So much for diversity.
Everybody else at once.
I swear to God, there's a part of me, that might be the first thing I watch from Bernie Sanders. I want to watch Bernie Sanders on the same stage as Public Enemy. This is going to be hysterical.
He's wearing a bandana around his forehead.
Fight the power!
Right.
You never know.
I'm surprised Bernie Sanders even knows who Public Enemy even is.
Oh, he's got his campaign crew. All the Bernie bros. They're working hard to keep him hip and with it.
Yeah. Until one of them decides to use the N-word on stage, and then it goes down.
Tomorrow is Super Tuesday, I guess. But our primary here in Illinois is not till I think it's next week. Isn't Illinois' primary? Okay. 17th. Oh, St. Patty's Day. Hi. Wait a minute.
They're not really having it on St. Patrick's Day, are they?
I don't know. Let's find out. Let me check.
What?
Let me do the
Come on. Although that would make sense.
Oh, yes.
That would be kind of funny to have them all in town on St. Patrick's Day.
Yeah, it's March 17th is the Illinois presidential primary.
Is it really? Is it really St. Patrick's Day? Oh, God. I can't wait.
The Democrats are smiling.
Choose red or blue and then go and get some green beer.
You know what? The local TV watching a bunch of these people, watching these geriatrics try to be play off the Irish thing, especially Bernie and Bloomberg. That ain't gonna work.
I think at this point, I think Bloomberg bought YouTube because every video before I watch it.
Forget YouTube. Bloomberg's bought everything. Bloomberg's bought everything. Bloomberg, every third post on my Facebook is Bloomberg.
I got a pamphlet in the mail today for Mike.
I got a text.
I thought I saw an advertising for tacos, that he was serving tacos.
He is. He is. There's a thing where I was tempted to go, but it's out in like Glen Ellen, which is like too far to go for just some fucking tacos. Plus, I don't think he's gonna be there.
Oh, it's just I
think it's just like a get-together thing. I don't think he's actually.
Or it's not even being an actual fundraiser. It's just gonna be like a meetup.
Yeah, kind of thing. I don't think he's physically going to be there. If he was physically going to be there, I'd consider going there just to like have because just to get the picture of me eating tacos with Mike Bloomberg.
Well, I hope he can afford some tacos. He's bought all this advertising money.
God knows he can afford tacos. He probably can afford better tacos than Taco Bell. That's for sure.
Yeah, I think everybody can afford better tacos than Taco Bell.
Yeah.
Not me. I like Taco Bell, though.
I like Taco Bell, too. People give me shit for it.
But did you see this thing?
I don't... Oh, God.
What thing?
What thing? The thing we're talking about? Ivan talks about the thing, too, you know.
Yeah, I know. The thing from... I hadn't gotten that far. KFC is doing a chicken sandwich where they're splitting a donut in half and putting a fried chicken breast in between it.
Sort of like chicken and waffles kind of thing?
You heard me.
Yeah,
I'm not
chicken
making
and donut.
this up. I just saw an ad for it on TV.
And Wendy's started their breakfast menu today.
Oh, did they restart their breakfast? So wait, does every Wendy's have breakfast now?
I guess it's nationwide, yeah.
Is it? Okay. Because, like, some Wendy's have breakfast and some don't.
And, like, in a true, like, Popeye Bluto kind of move, McDonald's, like, made their Egg McMuffins, like, real cheap today to rival Wendy's lunch day.
You, that chicken McGriddles, the chicken McGriddles are evil. Those things are great.
Oh, they are.
I haven't had a fast food breakfast in a long time.
Oh, you can get those anytime.
Well, you've been on your diet, man,
yeah.
You know, but you lost those 20 pounds.
I'll get them back. Don't worry.
I'm sure you will. No, you can get chicken. You can do chicken McGriddles at any time of the day now.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Oh yeah, cool. Oh yeah. The all day menu.
Oh, you've had one too, Ivan? Have you?
Oh,
now, does your local McDonald's, do they have a kiosk?
Yes, they do.
Mine does.
No, mine doesn't.
Yeah, you can go to an alcove and like tap a screen and swipe a card and
you're paid up and sit and they give you a number and then you can sit down. They bring the food to you now.
Yeah.
I don't know about that. By the way, Ivan.
I've done it.
If you put strawberry jam on that with the McGriddle, with the chicken McGriddle, that is good stuff.
Yes, legendary.
Oh,
legendary.
Yeah,
no. I'm with you on this, man.
It's been about time that McDonald's had a chicken sandwich for breakfast, and
Set it up like that. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, because the McGriddle is good because it's like, it's got the maple syrup thing in there because it's almost like having a it's like you can't they don't have the waffle.
Right, but it's kind of like a pancake type of consistency.
Oh, yeah.
It complements the rest of it, man.
Yeah.
It's just,
I find that I need a little bit of the jelly on it because there is a little bit more of the savory to the chicken breast that they use for breakfast than they do for the normal chicken breast. It's got a little bit more of a kick to it.
Right, exactly. You're right about that. You know, speaking of chicken places, and not necessarily eat chicken, but actually eat fish, Popeye started their new halibut fish sandwiches now.
Oh yeah? Any good?
They are terrific. If you like the breast, the chicken breast sandwich, you'll love the chicken sandwich. It's got the same amount of kick with the breading that they put in for the patty and everything, and it's succulent. It is so good. It bites down easy. It's good. It's good on the taste buds. Delicious.
I accidentally got the spicy version of the Popeyes chicken sandwich finally. They weren't supposed to give me the spicy, and I ended up with it.
Oh.
I'm not as thrilled with the spicy as I am with the classic.
There you go.
I'm not as thrilled with the spicy. I get why people would like it, And it was funny because I'm like, I got it on accident. I'm like, all right, we'll give it a shot. I'm like, yeah, you know what? I don't. They're too much of a kick for my taste.
The Popeyes just opened in my hometown last week.
Did it?
Oh boy!
So I can't go near it though. It's all crazy busy.
Is it really?
Yeah.
It's died down now. It's
yeah.
funny.
The hype is
The hype is down now, which is good because.
Thank you.
Yeah, we had a vacant Arby's that was like the building was closed for like a year and plus, and our new mayor has been revitalizing the local economy. So we got a Popeyes here in town, and it just opened last week. And yeah, apparently everyone wants to go check it out. It's like, no, I can always just drive to Crystal Lake and go and get it. So I'll just go there instead.
Yeah.
But eventually I'll check that Popeyes chicken sandwich.
Yeah, I'm trying to think if there's anything.
Check out the fish sandwich too, Mike. Man,
okay.
It's really good.
Well, it's funny. I saw the ad for the fish sandwich, and I noticed the bun's the same as the chicken sandwich. So I had
kind of like a brioche kind of bun.
Yeah, it sounded like a brioche kind of thing. Yeah.
Still good.
That's where McDonald's is really kind of screwing the pooch. They need to figure out how to build.
Well, McDonald's has a decent chicken sandwich, but it's straight mayo. It's not zesty sauce or anything like that.
Right. The cheap McChicken, the $1.49 one is great, but it's like there's no reason to buy a decent like the expensive chicken breast sandwich at McDonald's. It's just not. It's all right. It's just not great.
Yeah.
You know,
every now and then
It does in a pinch.
Yeah. Every now and then I'll go through Burger King and get the original chicken sandwich, with the long elongated bun. I don't get onion rings with it because their fries are not good.
Yeah, their fries are fucking.
Their fries
garbage.
are awful.
Their fries are garbage. I know some people who love their fries. I'm like, you're fucking.
No, their fries are lousy. They've been lousy for the last 20 years.
But I love their onion rings though.
Their tots are phenomenal in the morning.
Oh yeah, because we, being good Christians that we are, for the beginning of Lent, we had fish, and I requested tater tots to go with the fish because we haven't had tater tots in years. And you cook those in the oven, you do it right. Oh man, tater tots are,
Oh yeah, the Burger King. Ivan wasn't here when we talked about this.
Yeah.
But I said I want Ivan's take on this. If Burger King switched from fries to tots all day,
that would send them through the roof.
I know, wouldn't it?
Yes, it would send it through the roof.
I don't know why they don't do it. I don't know why they don't do it, because like Sonic does it, and that's half the reason you want to find a Sonic is because Sonic has tots.
Because I've never had Sonic.
I've had Sonic. Sonic is amazing.
Sonic's not bad. Sonic's not bad.
Well, I mean, I like their Coney Island dogs, which are really good. The footlongs, and then their tots are really good. I've had a bunch of those. And the chicken. The real trick with them is the drinks. There's a million drinks. Oh my god!
They got a million like the frozen things, and their shakes are pretty solid too.
Yes. Did you get the half and half?
No. What did I get? I want to say I got like a peanut butter shake or something like that, and it was great.
Okay. Oh yeah, I had a half and half vanilla, half chocolate, kind of a swirl type of thing. Man, it was lighter than air. It was so good.
Right. The problem is they're like all like far away, and
Yeah, I don't have a Sonic near me. I think the nearest one is down like in Algonquin, down on.
Well, it was funny when I was doing at one point the monthly game days I was doing for gaming when I was doing the role playing games was out in St. Charles. So when I was driving back, I would drive past Sonic. That's the only reason I ever got around to it, because there ain't any like nearby like where I'm at.
Oh yeah, did you hear about? Speaking of St. Charles, you heard that Pheasant Run has shuttered its doors.
Is it really?
Oh, that's sad.
Yeah, my parents had their honeymoon in there.
Wow.
That's.
Go ahead, you first.
No, go ahead. No, I don't.
Because they couldn't find a buyer, and I guess in November they laid off a bunch of people, and they couldn't. Nobody wanted to buy the resort, so.
Wow.
That's sad. Now there goes a little bit of Americana.
Yeah. At BotCon 2015 was there. That was a good show.
Mm-hmm.
But the hotel the resort was almost a little labyrinth-like. It was, yeah, and the carpeting was kind of dated, and yeah, but
nobody
I don't know, this kind of genre, this entertainment business. Do the young people, they still go to like spas and resorts, or are they just like? I
think they do. I think the thing is that a lot of that stuff now is like there's like hotels downtown where you can do that type of stuff, where you can kind of do like a staycation kind of thing.
Yeah, where they have like a spa or whatever, or they have like a steam bath or whatever.
And I wonder too how much like the fact that some of the casinos have live entertainment where they bring in people was a factor too.
And then they get the buffets too that are on 24 hours.
So, right. I just wonder if some of that was a factor.
What do you have and what's on your buffet right now, Evan?
Pop-Tarts.
Okay.
What flavor?
Strawberry with frosting on top.
Okay, they're frosting on
blueberry
top.
all the time.
Frosting on top.
Blueberry all day.
I love blueberry. Blueberry. Yeah. What are you noshing on there, Jeff? What are you talking about?
Nothing. I'm not eating anything at the moment.
So you're making fun of me because I'm eating Pop-Tarts over here.
During the show, yes.
Yes.
Okay, fine.
We have any news, Jeff? Or what?
I'm trying to think. Is there anything music we need to be talking about? I don't know. I have no idea.
I think that's the only music news.
Gaga came out with new music.
What, she dropped an album or something, or what?
Yeah, she's dropping an album.
Oh.
I think, yeah. So Gaga dropped a new album, and then I don't know. I'm trying to think if there's anything else.
I hear that Shallow song every day at work.
Shallow?
Yeah, from Stars Born.
Okay. Yeah.
Every day at work?
Every day.
That's the song that they're playing there?
That's mortifying.
Is it more mortifying
than
that Taylor Swift, like the love story one about I have she shell or whatever the fuck it is.
Yeah, I have she shells.
I have seashells. I should hope so to hide her.
I can't remember the name of the song. I try to not remember that song as much as possible.
I hear a lot of Taylor Swift songs at work too. I just have to shut it out.
Yeah, that's one of her songs too. Is Shut It Out or Shout It Out or
Shake It Off. Yeah.
Oh, Shake It Off. Sorry.
Yeah. Apparently, she made a music video where she's dressed as a man.
Yeah, I heard about that. That was the other thing I had heard about.
Taylor Swift has gotten really woke lately. Since that documentary went out, where she has to voice her, whatever. It's not. We're like the wokeness and the political correctness is becoming primary, and the music is coming second.
You think so?
These artists today, they're trying to make a political statement with their music, and just make a good song.
Well, wasn't that pretty much the 60s?
Well, yeah. It was.
Well, it wasn't so overt. But
it was.
Some of it was still good.
Okay, you got me.
Yeah.
It was pretty overt. It was pretty overt. We have to ask the one person who was alive in the 60s. Was it overt?
Well, yeah, in much of its design, of course, they put the idea of what was happening.
Oh, the protest songs, yeah. I mean, with going on with the war and all that.
Oh, yeah, Yeah, I mean, for what it's worth, by the Buffalo Springfield, about the rioting in California, you had, the evil destruction, and the music kind of signifies it when you listen to the lyrics of the whole struggle against, the two worlds, the ones in Vietnam and the things happening here at home, which was brought to you via those brave television guys who, yeah, that's something I wanted to do on a Tuesday night, watch the war on my television set. And, the camera guy and the announcer are out there dodging bullets, man. It's not a nice thing to watch when you're a kid. But, yeah, as far as like all the the types of songs that were going on out there, yeah, they definitely had their message, their time, and even their own movement, you know. So, in the end, to say, yeah, now as far as like what they're doing today, as far as what's going on in new music, you know, you have the artists doing their sense of expression and what they believe is going on in and around their universe, in and around their lives, in and around wherever it is that they're experiencing those moments. So I'm going to validate these moments, and I'm going to set them to music, and see if others will validate what it is that I'm feeling. You know, but
yeah, I do feel like there's been some times in between that have, how do I say that there's been stuff that's been there where it's been forgotten. Like Green Day's American Idiot album was pretty much a rebuke of everything that was George W. Bush.
Right, exactly.
It was Neil Young's "Rockin' in the Free World."
Right.
Yeah, well, that's a lot earlier than that, though. I mean,
did they do the same thing? Green Day do the same thing on Dookie?
Pretty much, but I mean, like even like Eminem did quite a bit of stuff in the early 2000s and late 90s where, you know, he talked a lot about social stuff when in between the stuff where he's using gay slurs and stuff like that. There's a lot of talk about, you know, issues and politics and, you know, all that kind of garbage. You know, there are people that were out there doing it. It's just, it hasn't just been all the NSYNCs and the Beast and their Backstreet Boyses and all that crap.
Well, yeah, you know, I mean, with all of what's happening behind the scenes, okay, you got the two worlds now have been cohabitating together, those who create and for those who have been created.
Yeah.
Oh, and so when you look into that particular realm of entertainment, you find that, do we, the ones that we've created, do they hold the same values as those who have come through the ranks and have had to, you know, live from, you know, beneath the dirt of their feet and, of course, by the sweat of their brow, you know, and for making music. And then, of course, you know, all of this plays into the human experience. I mean, I think Politica and change has happened in music forever. I mean, you know, from Woody Guthrie to the Carter family to all the country and western artists that have put it up.
Well, yeah, Arlo Guthrie. Yeah, I mean, "This Land Is Your Land." That was pretty much a call to.
You know, and all too well studied. And so it comes down to this, you know, when you think about it, I mean, look at the short-term folk movement of the early 1960s. The vast majority of those songs were politically based, you know, about what's happening in the country or who they approved or didn't approve, mixed in with some of the Americana that got kind of passed down as America went forward and made, you know, the folk movement, you know, the force that it was from 1958 all the way to 1966 before psychedelia and, you know, the mod scene and, you know, the Love Children and the Flower People took over, you know, and kind of made it their own little universe after that. But even then they had political records of the aforementioned that I did earlier in the program. And then it still followed through. Okay, you talk about, you know, songs like The Temptations, you know, The Ball of Confusion. You know, it was also very prevalent in the rhythm, blue, and soul music genres as well. War by Edwin Starr, right there, you know.
Yeah, pretty overt.
Yeah, so there's the thing, you know, and it did exist rather overtly or not as much, but it's still there regardless of how much volume and gravity we give to it. Yeah. But as far as it just
in the 70s, we had our disco movement.
But the disco
we still had
movement
protest songs and punk. And
yeah, the punk music, yes, absolutely. That was a whole
lot of message songs in there, yeah.
Oh yeah, Well, and that's not even as much the whole musical context of it, but in the lyrics and then in the messages, done in such a way that doesn't it make sense? So, it just that's just what that whole punk movement was, and still thrives in many tributaries today. When I have people come to the Electric Jungle and, they're talking about, the punk movement, the rock movement, this movement, that movement. Yeah, but the music just continues to evolve and just continues to go on. But you will have an element of that music that's going to talk about what's happening in the now, in the current day, what's going on, who loves this or who doesn't go with that, And I guess it's just always been a way to express those feelings and to express those emotions, and songs in many ways make it easier to kind of put such a very personal and very intimate thing out for the whole world to hear.
Well, my point was being is that the message songs of today just lack subtlety.
No, because they're just bold-faced.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
They're bold-faced, and I guess in their boldness, there's maybe a stance of it being fierce, or maybe a stance of I want to really make this point clear as to what I'm trying to tell you, and then you have the other side where they've sung you the whole song. And then a little bit later, you think about the song, you're like, oh, that's where the message got me. Because it permeates your gray matter, and then it sits there for a bit, and then you think about it, you're like, oh, yeah, now that makes sense. Now I understand. It's nice when you're able to express yourself in that matter of form about whatever, happens in your life. It's a wonderful thing. It's just like the kick. It's just like the kick I get when I spin these old records. And to be able to try to make the world a better place. One person, one gig, one date, one area at a time. I sleep better at night, and I don't have any real hardcore, protest. Request is what I have. Suggestions are what I have, and just in the hopes to make for a better time for everyone on Earth. So and just say, we all work out a little harder, a little longer, a little more patient. We'll all get along because we came from the same place. We're going to go to the same place.
Well, this is why I'm kind of laughing about the whole concept of the fact that Bernie Sanders is going to stand on stage with Public Enemy, who are all about protest, but definitely not the same kind of thought process as Bernie, that's for sure.
They won't be saying mamas and papas.
No, they're not going to be doing no Love and Spoonful. No, I don't see them doing any. I
swear to God, if Bernie
Peter, Paul,
walks up there, if Bernie walks up to a mic and goes, "Yeah, boy," that is going to be all over the internet.
Credibility will go down the toilet if you do this thing, okay?
Actually, Mike could probably do it. Mike could do it. Hey, what would Bernie sound like saying, "Yeah, boy"?
Yeah, boy.
Sounds about right.
Fight.
That sounds about right.
Yeah.
Hey, one quick thing. First of all, congratulations to Dick Wolf for basically having generational wealth.
Okay.
Glung glung.
I know who Dick Wolf is. Yeah, glung glung.
With between the Law and Orders and now all the Chicago shows, but apparently I can't remember who I was talking about this to online. So Law and Order SVU has now been renewed for 3 more seasons.
Jeez.
So we're talking about through season 24. And like I said to somebody, do you realize there's a generation of people who have grown up that don't realize that Ice-T was a rap guy?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's right.
To them, Ice-T is some guy who's been on Law and Order SVU.
Like, I was a kid, my parents were watching the show, and now I'm watching it, and my kid is in the crib.
Yeah, seriously.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
You know what we should do? You know what? That could be a fun game at one point if we wanted to. Like next week if we wanted to for fun. If we got nothing better to talk about, which is pick a name and let's see if they've been on Law and Order SVU. Because it's like, I swear, I feel like everybody's been at this point. Like, we used to joke about Law and Order that way. Like, Law and Order, forget that. Law and Order only got to barely, like, sputtered to get to 20 seasons. You know, we could be talking, like, you look at some of, like, the different shows where it's like I was watching one the other day, and it's like, oh, look, they had Mike Tyson. They had Mike Tyson? What? When did I miss this one?
That's right, Your Honor.
He was actually kind of good in it. I was surprised.
And that's when I broke the bitch's neck, Your Honor.
He kind of did say something along those lines, too.
Oh, my goodness.
It wasn't a her. He was like, he had been abused, so it's like, that's when I got abused, Your Honor. They all gang raped me, Your Honor.
You guys, you're wicked.
But yeah, no, I mean, there are probably a whole bunch of people who are like, Ice-T. Oh, you mean that, like, Law and Order?
Oh, yeah, the guy from Law and Order. No, the rapper.
The rap guy.
It's
what
like
rap
Paul McCartney
guy?
was in a band before Wings.
Yeah, man, you know, Ice-T, you know, I'm your pusher, man. You don't remember that?
Cop Killer.
Cop Killer, yeah.
Yeah, I played that pusher, man, on my my set Sunday. I actually found my 45. It was cool.
You know, kids today will not know what it was like to listen to the dulcet tones of Charlton Heston reading the lyrics of Cop Killer in front of a whole bunch of cops.
That's right. Easter season is coming up. I get to dust off my DVD of the 10 Commandments coming soon.
Well, there you go. Charlton Heston.
So saith the Lord.
Oh, I need to find that. I need to find that when he does the lyrics for Cop Killer. That is.
I'm sure it's on YouTube or something.
Oh, it's gotta be there.
On YouTube.
It's
like, gotta be.
I got my. It's like in total Charlton. It's like in total Charlton Heston dramatic reading. It's like, I got my gat. Die, pig, die. It's like, it's just like.
Wow.
It's like it's supposed to be. He's supposed to be like reading it like this is a serious problem. At the same time, I'm like watching it and I'm like, okay, rapid interpretive reading. This is kind of impressive.
The same way,
like it.
Shatner thought he was a legitimate rap art or freeform singer.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
Beatnik kind of music.
Visit to a Forbidden Planet.
Yeah.
Remember that? I remember I played that on the old show.
Oh yeah. I still have dreams about the old studio.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah, that's sitting at the old Weave studio, man. Good times. So I guess that'll do it for this week, huh? Are we about done?
Yeah, seriously.
Yeah.
My favorite was, you were like, okay, I think we're about done, and then we went like 40 more minutes.
Got any more news? No. But let's just go talk about this shit for 40 more minutes.
To talk about.
Yeah.
Well, who's going to tell them where they can find us?
You can tell them, Ivan.
I can't get it straight. I'm sorry.
All right, Jeff, tell them where they can find us.
They can find us on Instagram. They can find us on Twitter. You can find us on Facebook. And you can find us, so it is SORT Podcast and hashtag. You can find us there. You can also email us at SORT Podcast.
SOTRT.
Okay, sorry. This is why you need to do this. What is it? Gmail? Are we at Gmail?
Yes.
We're at gmail.com. Okay. And then, of course, we have the Facebook page. We have the Squares of the Round Table Facebook page. And that is where we have up-to-date stuff. We find funny stuff. We have stuff that you can look at. News you can use, news you can't, including the stuff that you'll sometimes see our sister show, News of the Squared. Shot, scat.
Scott!
God.
Okay. So you can find all that stuff there. Hit the like button. We love you. We're on iTunes. We're on Google Play. We're on Spotify. We're on Anchor. We're on PodBean. We are on YouTube. All you gotta do, click the bell, subscribe, or click on those things and subscribe. If you can give us a rating, that would be awesome too. We'd love to get people to rate us so that we can get more people to check us out and hear the show and do along all those things. So hopefully you can do that. And I think that's about it that I got. I don't got nothing else unless you guys want to, say something. I don't know. I think that's going to do it, right?
Yeah, I'll have my thoughts. You'll have my thoughts on Onward next week.
Onward!
Onward!
To adventure!